pleasant day to each and everyone. To our instructor, Architect Evan Jones C. Nabaunad, UAP, sir. To our fellow classmates, and most especially to our guest architect, Architect Joshua M. Bakutan III. Sir,
Good evening.
po.
So, before we proceed to our heart-to-heart interview, we would like first to introduce ourselves as the interviewee for today's gathering. So, I am Junal Ann Abarquez.
And I am Jan Michael S. Bayani po.
I am Rizabella Pahanono. And I am Julian Paragatos.
And we are BS Architecture 4A from SSU Main Campus. And good day, sir.
Good day po, sir.
Back to you, Michael.
Yes, thank you. Now, let us introduce our guest architect. Slide, please. So, Architect Joshua M. Bakutan III, UAP. He is graduated in Eastern Visayas State University, EBSU, year 2018, batch Sinagtala. He's a former intern at LLBG and SMSG Architecture Interior and Design Studio, May 2018 to July 2018. Sir, please correct us if we are wrong, sir po. Bingkola po kasi namon nini na info mo po ha FB po.
Okay. It's book 2 and I will how you pronounce my family name. It's book 2 and I book 1 po.
Yes, sir. Sige po. So, he's a former chapter public relation officer at UAPGA Eastern Visayas chapter. We all know what is UAPGA. On July 2018 to June 2019. He's also a former junior designer at Ideal Builders Development Corporation, August 2018 to October 2019. And he is also a chapter president at UAPGA Eastern Visayas chapter, September 2019 to June 2020. Next.
He is also a former architecture apprentice at DM Fontebella Incorporation, Architects and Associates on October 2019 to January 2021. He is also the Associate Architect at DM Fontebella Incorporation, Architect and Associates past DM Fontebella Incorporation Architects and Associates and UAPGA Eastern Visayas Chapter. So, back to you, Michael.
Dagdag lang po, no? He's an alley passer. Then June. Very recent lang po. Congrats,
yes,
sir.
Congrats, sir.
Yeah.
Congrats po, sir. Congrats, sir. Okay, so his favorite color is be a thermostat instead of being a thermometer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good day po, Architect. Thank you po for allowing us na ma-interview po kayo, no, today. It is our greatest honor for us to be able to meet you po. Again, thank you po. Now, let us proceed to our questions po. Are you ready po, Architect? Okay. Great, sir. Now, we have here 20 questions about your journey, being an architecture student, and now that you are an already licensed architect. So, let's start po, no? So, question number 1, sir. Clear po yung boses namin, sir?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you po. Okay, question number 1 po. Was being an architect is your ultimate dream?
Yes. In the short answer, yes. It has been my dream. It has been what was instilled to me since I was a kid because my parents saw the potential that makaliti mag-drawing, try being an architect. So from that day on, since as a child, I wanted to become an architect, and my parents gave me opportunities to enhance the skills, to enhance the talent that I have. And yes, since I was a kid, I wanted to become an architect.
Wow, that was a great answer.
It starts from a hobby and
Yeah.
become a profession.
Yes.
Meron kasing parang napipilitan lang, sir, no? So, next question po tayo. What were the steps you took in becoming the architect you are today?
First, of course, yes. Of course, to pass all the subjects, to graduate, of course. Uh, Actually, it's the graduating BS architecture is it's the easy work. And
Did you have, sir, any failing subject, or did you failed any subject?
uh, well, technically, I did not fail, but I, I once took a removal exam in professional practice.
Mm.
It, I think if I remember it correctly, I had a removal in prof craft and design. I had because my grade was 3.1 or 3.2, such a very small
Oh.
difference.
Same, sir, same.
Actually. So
Mm.
such a small difference, but we have to follow the instructors. We have to follow these guidelines. And to answer that question, the steps that I took is after I graduated, I knew for myself that I still lack a lot of knowledge. So once I graduated, I tried to look for a mentor because I wanted the kind of architect to be knowledgeable not only in design but also in the different aspects in designing, such as the building utilities and uh, planning, not just merely architectural design itself. I wanted to be familiar. I wanted to know these allied engineering services that we outsource in our actual practice. And during my apprenticeship, this was my goal. I wanted to have the mind of an architect because when I graduated, I had the mind of a draftsman. Mabilis ako mag-draft. Walang problema. Pero once I graduated, I wanted to have the mind of an architect. And now that I have the mind of an architect, I wanted to have a mind of a contractor. Because being a draftsman, being an architect, being a contractor, they have different mindsets.
Yes, sir.
They have, the way they see, the way they forecast a project is very different. So what's important is you need to have a goal, not just follow, ano, especially when you're a student, you have all the steps laid out right in front of you. So without having a goal, you can graduate BS architecture. But in order to become an architect, you need to set a goal for yourself. So while students, it's really best to set a goal for yourself. What do you want to become when you graduate?
Wow.
What do you need to do? So if 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 it requires you to have further research than the subjects laid out in front of you in the academe, then go ahead, do your research. Uh, for me, I watch TED Talks because I'm very visual. I do not like reading. So I watch TED Talks from time to time. If I do not feel uninspired in doing a plate, I watch TED Talks related architecture. So by the time I'm filled with inspiration, I'm already tired from watching all these TED Talks, then I end up sleeping. So it's very important to have a goal and to evaluate yourself. Acknowledge your limitations in setting your goal so that you can accept the steps, the realistic steps you need to do. For me, what was the question again? The steps that I took to be in becoming an architect, right?
Yes, sir.
So the steps that I took in becoming an architect to sum it up is first pass the graduate and then learn everything that I could in actual construction during my apprenticeship because I know the university can teach me everything. So I wanted to fill all that is lacking through my apprenticeship. So I extended, my apprenticeship lasted for around like almost 3 years last pandemic. So yun.
But it was all worth it naman, di ba, sir? Look at that. You're now a professional architect license.
Yes.
Di ba, sir?
Majority of the exam comes from
But it was
apprenticeship.
worth it, di ba, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. So,
Mm.
first to question pala, bagan ko na. Medyo motivated na kagad tayo ah.
Marami na agad naka-generalize na.
Okay daw. So, next question po tayo, sir. So, what was the greatest hindrance you experienced during architecture class? And how did you overcome them?
During architecture class. By that, I assume you mean the whole 5 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, of course, it was on the 5th year because it sums up everything you have learned in the first 4 years of your study. For me, it was the thesis. Aside from the exams, aside from complex, it was the thesis. Because the thesis is like a plate that lasts for a whole sem. So this is where you showcase what you have learned in your research and your design, your planning skills, of course. So for me, that was the hardest. Presentations alone is very hard.
Okay po, sir. Thank you. That was a wonderful answer. My God. So,
Good luck sa
next po kita, sir.
guys.
Good luck sa atin o good luck?
Good luck sa atin. 50
I
years.
hope
Next year.
Bye.
Hopefully.
you had a follow-up question on how did I overcome this obstacle.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I will share to you what my thesis advisor shared to us because our thesis was by group. Is your thesis by group still now? Because for us it was a group of 3. So I you individual.
Anyway, sir, group gyapon po.
Yeah, by 3s,
Bye.
Mga
by
mga
5.
5, sir. Opo.
Okay. So you have a lot of manpower. So what my thesis advisor said was, do not overcomplicate things. Keep your thesis as simple as possible. Di ba you have objectives of the study?
Yes, sir.
Be clear on what you want to address. Be clear on the issues you want to address. You don't have to address everything. You don't have to please everybody. You just have to be clear on your objectives. It's okay to have 3, depending on what's the minimum required number of objectives. But if it's okay to have 3, then have 3 clear objectives. Then address them. Try to not overcomplicate stuff because simplicity alone is sophistication. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
Thank you, sir,
Thank
for
you,
that
sir.
advice. Ngayon may na-adman good kami.
Yes.
Magagamit
Magagamit
talaga.
talaga. Lalo na mga 5th year.
Yes, sir.
Unta, mag 5th year.
So,
Sabi ko,
yeah. Next question po kita, sir. No?
okay.
What are the things you want to install in the minds of young and aspiring architects? Haamon, sir.
Jen,
Kanla, sir. Bisad kanla. Pagpatuloy.
I think
Ang
it's
motivating.
I think this will be what will I share to you because it has a great impact for me. It's acknowledge your limitations. Know and acknowledge your limitations. Know and acknowledge your weaknesses and strengths. Because, let's say for me, example, I'm colorblind. So as an architect, it's very hard
Hard, yes,
because we need colors.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Colors in our design. So
So,
how do I do with that?
how do you cope up with that, sir?
So for me, I'm very weak in color combinations. So what I did is uh, during my apprenticeship in Architect Fontebella, I understood his taste in colors. What goes with what texture goes with this color? What finish? What type of texture goes with this kind of color? So I understood what his design preference, and I applied it on my own. And being specific, I have a set of color pens, and I have my own personal way of labeling them so that I can identify what these colors are. This is this group is from light blue to dark blue. This group is from yellow to orange, something like that. So I have my own way of labeling colors because I recognize color by memorization. So if that particular hue is outside, is not the very common hue. For example, the typical red. It's a very recognizable hue. Even in games involving colors, in colorblind mode, red can be recognized. But if you shift the hue from red to a particular shade of pink or scarlet, then it's very hard for me to recognize because it's not apparent color. So that's my way of overcoming my colorblindness. And of course, I consult my friends who are not colorblind. From time to time, I chat them. What color is this? Because I want to double check. I have my own opinion on what color that thing is, but I want to double check.
Sir, that was amazing of you. Truly,
Grabe,
nakakabilib.
You have to acknowledge your intuition so that you know what you need to work on. It's the same thing during the review. I know that I am weak in history and theory because they require a lot of memorization, unlike building tech that I can use my experiences during my apprenticeship. So that's why during my review I studied history and theory first. So I grouped all the subjects that I'm weak at, and then I studied them first. So you're the only person who knows best on what your weaknesses are, and you're the only person that can evaluate and take steps and list the steps that you need in order to overcome this. So manage your limitations and weaknesses. Don't be ashamed. Don't be insecure with other people na, magaling siya sa design, ako hindi. No. Acknowledge it. And then use that fuel to grow, to move forward.
Dapat may tiwala sa sarili.
Yes. Because complaining is the easiest thing to do. Complaining is the easiest thing to do. Now, working on that particular problem takes wisdom. It takes courage. Because complaining is a cop-out. You don't want to work on something because it's hard, you just complain. You don't work on it.
Yes,
It's okay to complain, but don't dwell on that particular problem.
Yes. That's right.
Kaya kailangan confident talaga kita.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Confidence is very important.
review din sa mga weaknesses. Enhance. So, sir, now, let's proceed to the next question, sir. So, can you tell us about your preparation in taking the architecture licensure examination?
Preparation. First, uh, everything is hard. Everything that you do is hard if it doesn't have plans. That's why as architects, we draw because drawing is the language of construction. So we draw, we plan everything so that when it is implemented on site, it will not be hard, it will not be costly for the owner, right? The same thing in the review. You find reviewing hard because you don't have plans. So you set plans. For me, I set a schedule uh, for this particular duration of time. I will study these subjects. My style was I would study a different subject in the morning and different subject in the afternoon. Because if you study one subject for the whole day, you will end up procrastinating because you will end up being bored. Sumhanong kita. So yun. So that was my strategy. And I divided the time I have in all the subjects that I needed to study. And then I stopped. I made it sure to stop studying a month before the exam. Uh, I made it sure that a month before the exam I will not read anymore, but rather I will answer past Ali questions. So I purchased in a past board exam questionnaires from Shopee. So some of them have answer keys, some of them don't. So I didn't really care if it had answer keys.
Was it
Because
helpful, sir?
oh, it's very, very helpful. You can read, you can all you want in the review and still fail.
How many months, sir, does it took you to for the review, sir?
I think I studied for like a year because I was delayed in the pandemic. We got caught in the pandemic. So then discouragement came, and then I decided, nah, what's the point of studying if the exam is going to be delayed? Is the exam going to happen at all? So that was my mindset. Most of us were discouraged during that time. So I ended up studying for around a year. So yun, during my review, you plan ahead.
Thank you so much, sir.
Pag walang mahirap lahat.
Oh.
It goes in relationships as well. Pag walang katutungan.
No,
Nahuli, sir.
kasamang sinta.
Kasi,
Wow!
5 AU, ah. So, next question, sir, would be, what is the greatest challenge you encountered being an architecture student?
Being an architecture student. If, is this different from the latest one that I shared earlier?
Yes.
I think it was acknowledging my weaknesses because I think it was the time realizing what I'm weak at and accepting it. For me, it was really hard because as a student, I had a mindset that I needed to excel in everything to graduate, something like that.
So, next question would be asked by our fellow classmate,
yes, sir. Isabella
Isabella
and
and
Julia.
Julian.
Pas namin kayo ang
Yes,
mic.
naman.
Good evening again, sir. So, Julia.
So, sir, here are my some questions for you po. So, in architecture profession, is there a need for competition?
Is there what? Sorry?
In architecture profession, is there a need for competition?
Competition? Yes. Because without competition, you will get bored. You will not grow without competition. If you want to grow, put pressure in your life. Nobody grows in convenience. Getting out of your comfort zone is the key in growing and improving yourself in any skill, in any field. So competition, friendly competition, not the toxic one. Competition allows you to push your limits, to see the edge of what can you really do. And of course, your fellow competitors help you. What they excel at, you learn from it. That's what I also did when I was a student. I'm not. I'm only okay in design, the ones who mamang mag-render. So what I did was I joined design competitions because it was by group, right?
Wow.
I joined design competitions, and what I did was I observed the other team. How do they do? That was my goal. I didn't care about winning. I joined any competitions I can. So I look at their technique. How do they draw? How do they make it so uh, visually has a lot of visual impact, and how do they plan everything? That was my goal. I just wanted to learn. That's why I joined this competitions, and that's why I became an officer, an athlete officer in UAPSA. All of that because I wanted to learn. Because I know that these are the things that the academy will not teach you. Learn as much as you can in the environment you are.
Be observant.
Be observant.
Observant.
So thank you, sir, for that. My next question po is, how do consultants such as engineers impact our design decisions?
Napatawa
May
sir.
architect, may engineer involved na.
Ay, dyan, Christy, dyan! Our engineers, we need to look, we need to see these engineers as partners rather than the people who oppose our design. Because that's why we have backgrounds in allied engineering, right? Because so that we can consolidate our design with their point of view. We need to see the way they see, so that we can design holistically. And engineers provide architects a sense of clarity in the overall design, especially in structural. For me, it's structural very. But it's very nice if you try to incorporate a structural engineer's perspective in your architectural design. Well, we have this structural conceptualization as specialized services. And we also use that kind of approach in our preliminary schematics design. So yeah, the engineers give us a clarified perspective when it comes to details, when it comes to all aspects of the design. Because architects see the whole picture, and then engineers move in a specific point of view. So it's like macro to micro, something like that.
Wow. Thank you,
So
sir.
in a way, they complete us.
Yeah.
Not a
That's very
competition.
informative.
They're partners, not competitors.
Yeah.
Yes. So, for my next question po. In spite of the challenges you've been through before becoming an architect, what are the driving forces that motivate you to achieve your goal?
Driving forces that motivate me in achieving my goal. Money.
Number one.
Number one.
Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong in being motivated with money. Because who doesn't want to be rich? The point is, don't be consumed by greed. Because everyone desires to be financially independent someday. One of the driving forces is, of course, to be financially independent, and to the other is to really grow in this gift that I have. Because I don't want to be the kind of architect who just settles in for this. I'm very comfortable in this part of growth in my life. You no longer have the desire to pursue and grow further. I want to learn more. So it's money and learning. The least thing.
That was very Motivating.
Number
Honest.
one talaga. Number
Number
one. Money talaga.
Mm-mm. Okay, so architect profession is a serious job, demands commitment and passion. What are your ways to stay on track and comply with these demands?
First of all, be disciplined. Discipline is our number one
Discipline.
factor
Mm-mm.
because how can you be committed? You can be passionate all you want. Everyone is passionate in their own way. You can be passionate all you want, but it takes discipline to be committed because not every day you are passionate. Not every day you have the drive to complete a particular task or to finish a schedule. It takes discipline. You you won't be successful if you're going to base your activity on your feelings. "Ah, I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. If you're tired, okay, you rest, but do not stop.
Discipline.
Oh, procrastinator. Procrastinator, Risa.
Maybe that. Alright.
I think that's what I did when I had my review. I tell you, during your review, you will have off days. You will have days that it's either you're so discouraged or you just don't feel like reading. For me, I allow myself to have that kind of feeling
Mm-mm.
because I don't think it will do me good if I do not take my time to process that stuff. So what I did is I allow myself an off day or a lazy day for just one day. I do not do lazy days for 2 consecutive days because it will break the it will destroy the habit that I have worked hard on.
Yes.
It's very hard to work on a habit to read as scheduled. And then just because you procrastinated for 2 straight days, you had the difficulty in going back to schedule again. So no, for me, it takes 2 days to break a habit,
Yeah, that was
and to
really
establish a habit, it takes what, a month, 2 weeks. So all that time you've been working hard on will be wasted. So I allow myself only one day of an off day. That's
Okay.
Sunday aside because Sunday was a rest day for me.
Okay, sir. Thank you for that, sir.
Schedule.
So,
holiday, Sunday, church day.
my last question po, sir, is what do you think are the reasons why building codes are important on designing a project?
Uh, Building codes, no, not only building. By building codes, I mean you refer to building laws. Like these are your fire codes, your 5344, uh, as the National Building Code itself, and among others. And these sets of laws help you to design a human-centered approach.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you take away the National Building Code itself, you will end up, for example, if you're designing a commercial building, you will end up designing a building maximized for profit. So you're not considering the people, the users, the end users. So
Yeah.
these codes allow you to have restraints, and these restraints in turn push your creativity as an architect in the way you plan and solve design problems.
Yes.
Okay, next.
Thank you po, sir, that is my last question for
These
you po.
codes are very important to avoid fines.
Okay, so next question, sir, is do clients just ruin your brilliant designs? How?
I'm sorry.
Do clients just ruin your brilliant designs? How?
You mean binabasura nila?
Ruin, sir.
Or
Ruin.
Ruin. Kasi sometimes may ina-add sila na di naman necessary or
Yeah.
Design is a matter of preference. Design is a matter of taste, at least when we're speaking aesthetically. But if architects don't know, I mean, clients do not ruin the designs of the architect because in the first place, it is the client that has the vision for the project. Because the architect can't do anything if the client does not have a vision. What do you want? Client, what do you want? See, so we have to we need to be the kind of architect that acknowledges, that believes in the visions of the client. Because our role as an architect is not to express our brilliant ideas, not just that. Our primary role is to interpret the needs of the client,
The safety.
consolidate it with the building codes, and then uh, produce it in a form of drawings. So that's our primary role, to interpret the vision, the needs of the client in a functional way, into a functional sculpture.
Yes.
um,
So, follow-up question, sir. Have you dealt with an obstinate client? How do you cope up with stress when dealing with obstinate client?
Obstinate, you mean ignorant, right?
Stubborn.
Stubborn.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, it's not ourselves that we have to please, it's the client. Otherwise, we don't get paid.
talaga man.
Silang masusunod.
Yeah.
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 Mahabang pasensya, mahabang pasensya.
How do we
Tapos pag
deal
may
with this?
problema,
The best we can do to a client is to educate them. Because we can't enforce them our design preference. Ang client, mas maganda yung finish nito eh. The best thing we can do is educate the client. Client, this finish is better for a ramp because it's an unskilled path. There's more traction on the wheelchair. So something like that. So we can educate the client, we can provide options, but the final decision will be on the client.
sir, paano kung stubborn talaga, sir, like, na dim-push nila yung gusto nilang gawin, tas nagka-problema, like, nag-collapse, tas isisi sa architect. Yes, sir.
It depends on the contract kasi. If during the design phase, the client really wants to enforce his preference, then you can just follow it. But of course, with proper steps, you need to get the approval of the engineer if it's a structural issue, something like that. So again, the client can enforce what he or she wants, can be aggressive about that. But we also have to we uh, we know that we are liable in our design, so we also need to enforce, to educate the client on doing what's right.
I agree.
What the client knows isn't necessarily what is right. So ikaw yung may alam. At the end of the day, there are times na babatuin sa'yo ng client na, alam mo pala kung ano yung tama ba't hindi mo ginawa? Something like that.
Ganun talaga.
That's the best thing we can do, educate the client and provide options.
Okay, sir. Thank you for that wonderful answer. Next question is from the famous phrase, customers are always right. Do you really think that clients are always right? Why?
no, clients are not always right. It's it's the same thing with customers are always right. Uh, in my own perspective, if that's what customers say when they are spoiled. Oh, I'm the paying customer. I want this. I'm paying you, architect. You follow this. Remember, the client hired you as an architect, not as a draftsman. So act what you are. You have to
My
remember
next
that.
question, sir, is do I really need to get license?
By law, yes. To practice architecture,
Yeah.
yes, by law. In RA 9266, we're required to have a license. An architect must be licensed and registered.
Yes, that's right, sir. I agree. My last question, sir, is in school we get a bad grade for mistakes. I am sure that the cost is much higher in practice. How do you not make mistakes in your drawings?
Let me rephrase that. You always make mistakes in your drawings.
No.
Architect Palafox, when we had him as a guest in our seminar, he said to us that I'd rather revise on paper than in computer. So, as students, as students, we were trained hindi dibdibin yung mistakes on paper, especially if manual drafting.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
That's what we are trained for.
Yeah.
We should not use hard when there are a lot of revisions in drawings. Because I tell you, there's no architectural firm in this world that has no mistakes in drawings. There's going to be details, some nitty-gritties that you will end up overlooking. So the key is to revise them while they are still drawings.
Okay, sir. That's all. Back to you guys, Bayani and Jonel.
So, this is the last question, sir. An additional question. What is your advice to the future architect or architecture students? Yes. What will be your advice to them? Or a motivational phrases?
I'm going to share this since you already included it in your PowerPoint. Be a thermostat rather than being a thermometer.
Yeah. Nakita namin mo quote, sir. Yung favorite quote. Research it.
My uncle is also an architect, said that to me back when I was still in high school. You know what a thermostat is and you know what a thermometer is, right? The thermometer goes up and down depending on the temperature, right? While a thermostat is fixed on a particular temperature.
Area.
So simply it means that you need to have a goal. Set a goal, and then everything you do should be aligned to it. This is what I'm going to do next as I become an architect. Is having a jowa help me in becoming an architect? If yes, then by all means, mag-jowa ka. So you have to see, you have to evaluate everything that you do if it will contribute into your fulfilling your goal. To be a thermostat, have a fixed mind.
Yeah. Be a thermostat, guys.
Huwag kayong maging thermometer, ha?
Yeah.
And sir, that is the end of our question. But before we officially end this, we would like to have a fast talk, if it's okay with you, sir.
Sure.
Yes.
Sir, ready, sir. Pag ready, sir.
We will be giving you about 30 seconds to answer. So, are you ready, sir, architect?
Ready? Ready.
Okay, so here is the question. Manual or digital?
Digital.
Day or night?
Night.
Root-ring or Stedler?
Red.
Public or private?
Private.
Wood or bamboo?
Sorry?
Wood or bamboo?
Bamboo.
Modern or classic?
Modern.
Quality or quantity?
Quality.
Local or international?
Local.
Lights on or lights off?
La.
Lights on.
So that would be all, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a heartwarming and knowledgeable interview with you, sir. And fun. Fast talk with you, architect. To officially end this interview, we, the student of Base Architecture 4A of SSU, Maine, would like to thank you for sharing your experience, ideas, and insights. We will also deliver to your address a token of gratitude for giving us your time and helping hand making this interview possible. Again, sir, from the bottom of our heart, we thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, at last, nag-iiwan po kami ng katagang for your plans and design.
Get
an
Thank
Thank you so
sir.
much, sir.
Thank you so much.